Praise be to Allah. They don't want to rule by shura bainahum or shura bainakum. They don't want to rule by that. Look at all these dictators we got over the Muslim world. Is that shura bainahum?
No.
It's gangsterism.
That's right. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yes, thugs. Intimidating the citizens.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Making them afraid for their life if they argue with or refuse to obey their political bosses. I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good that President Bush is over there with our soldiers. They losing their life and they're killing the people. I know a lot of them over there need to be killed.
Yes.
But I know some of them over there are dying innocently.
Right.
They're not guilty.
Right.
Their leaders got them in trouble. So that doesn't make me feel good at all. But I'd rather see him whip ass than to see it stay like it was.
Yes, sir.
And God says that he will punish one people with another people.
Yes.
That's in both books, both scriptures. God will punish one people with another people. And God says that my covenant with you is good as long as you keep it. But if you yourself break the covenant, you don't have any covenant. Now you hear these imams and these scholars of Islam. Yes, the covenant was with the Jews, and then brother is with the Christians, and now brother is with the Muslims. I don't believe it. You lost it long time ago. Yes. The leadership of Islam or the Muslim world lost that covenant a long time ago. And they know it. I'm talking about the wise scholars, the wise imams and leaders. They know that the behavior of Muslims, especially the behavior of their leaders, deserve that God take the covenant away from Muslims.
Right. Take your time, bro.
He's not taking it away from the good people.
That's right.
Taking it away from bad people.
Right.
And the majority of the Muslim leadership is bad, then he takes it from the Muslim leadership.
That's right.
I believe this covenant is on African Americans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those people who had the covenant, they didn't know it until God revealed it.
Right.
So you can have the covenant and not know it.
Right.
But I believe God is making things happen in our life and in the life of the world today to show us and the world where his covenant is.
Yes, sir.
Now we talk about spirit, and most of us don't understand it. Most of us don't understand it. It's a mystery. Spirit, it's a mystery. What we know as spirit is nothing but good feeling. That's all we know, good feeling. When we're feeling good, or when we're feeling holy, oh, we got the spirit. When you're feeling bad or feeling nasty, lost the spirit. So all we know is feelings. But there's a higher spirit than that. That's just the influence of a higher spirit. Your feeling good is the influence of a higher spirit. Your feeling bad is the influence of a higher spirit. Yes? Your feeling bad is the influence of punishment for you not doing something that you ought to be doing. As soon as you feel bad, just start thinking, what have I been missing that I should be doing? And I guarantee you, you'll find it. And I guarantee you, if you'll go do it, your spirit is going to change for the better. You stay at home, wetting yourself with your own tears, moaning your own condition, feeling sorry for yourself and nobody else. Punishment. All you have to do is look away from yourself. As that man said, I was feeling sorry for myself with no shoes until I saw a man with no feet. Then the burden of sadness was lifted off of him. And he went on barefooted and happy as a free man. Spirit, the spirit that God gave man that enlightened him and opened up his mind to the universe, to bigger things. That was a spirit that had a direction. It's not just any spirit. It's not just wind blowing here and there. It's a direct movement. It's movement with a direction.
You got the direction.
Oh, yes.
Without a doubt.
And when the non-believers were ridiculing, making fun of religion that Muhammad was bringing, and they said, have you seen this God you're talking about? Which the Jews had said to Moses, and they were punished for it. Same thing. Said, have you seen this God you stand? So the revelation came to Muhammad to tell them, these gods that you have, Lad and Uzzah and whatever, have you seen them? You done made statues, but have you seen them? They are nothing but idols made by your own hands and your own imagination. You haven't seen them. So the laugh was turned on them, huh? The ridicule was turned on them. Yes. Then it goes on to say that he met his God in the far horizon as two arrows going parallel, side by side, from the place of origin to the target or the destiny. Said, and they met in the far horizon. Now, what is it saying? That the spirit of Muhammad was in perfect agreement with the will of God. And his spirit and the will of God was so much in agreement that they were traveling to the same purpose. That was a distance away, but they were sure to meet at the place of destination or destiny. Huh? In the far horizon. Say, and he saw, for sure he saw what he saw. Huh? So what is it saying? Muhammad surely saw, he had convincing proof that his God was with him. And he didn't see his God as you see a stone that you made and call it God. But he saw his God in will for man, in his will for mankind. And he saw his God in his destiny for his spirit. His destiny for his spirit. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. I don't want to elaborate all of that. It'll take too much time. I think that's enough. But for my students, when I meet them on Sundays or whenever, we can discuss it further. In fact, we will discuss it first. We'll discuss it further, inshallah, God willing. Yes. All right. So, people, you have to have faith in God that made you and everything, designed you to be the type of life you are, and determined by designing you, determine what you can do and what you can't do. And he has determined for you in your design that he gave you a great future. You can produce and produce much more than you can imagine right now. Yes. So you have to have faith in your Maker, have faith in your God, and never think yourself big enough, wise enough, great enough to judge God. That's right. To tell us what God is. No one can tell anybody what God is without God revealing himself. God has to tell us himself what he is. And we know no more than what he tells us about himself. He is unreachable unless he wants to be reached. This is God. I'm not only speaking from Scripture, I'm speaking from my own life experience. Okay? And if God says that he made man to be responsible for his own soul, believe it. And start, if you haven't been doing it, start trying to be responsible for your own soul. Well, how can I be responsible for my own soul? Your soul tells you when you're laughing too much. Stop laughing and get serious. Your soul tells you when you're crying too much. Stop crying and go to work. Huh? Yes, your soul tells you these things. You know in your soul that you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And when you're doing the wrong thing, you know in your soul that you're doing the wrong thing. But God has put over your soul a manager, a responsible entity. That's your power to think, reason, remember, and obey what is right. So don't leave your soul on its own, begging you to behave with respect, and you just going on as though the soul is not speaking to you. You are the convener. You're the counsel. Huh? You're the manager. God knows that the soul is bigger than you. But he chose you and put you over something bigger than you. And he put in that soul obedience to you. Yes. But he put in that soul to know when you're deserving it and when you're not. And the soul is very patient. Soul is long-suffering. Huh? So the soul will take a crap off of you day in and day out, month in and month out, year in and year out. But after a while, the soul will say, go to hell. And that's exactly where you're going to go. Yes. Shame on us, black people, African American people. Let good times come forget all about the dignity that we lost when they enslaved our foreparents. Forget all about the human freedom we lost when they limited our life to the existence of a slave on the plantation under white bosses. We forget about all that. Your soul cannot forget. Your mind can forget, but your soul can't forget. And you wonder how come you're miserable. You wonder how come the black race is miserable. It's because you are being punished for not answering the best motivations, the best aspirations, the best concerns and interests of your ancestors who wanted what you got now, freedom, so they can take their own life into their own hands and make it better. Now you got your own life in your own hands, but you're still sitting around like a slave, waiting on a slave master to tell you to get up and go to work, come back in and go to bed. Okay, you're free for Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. Go and have your good time. That you are behaving as though there's an invisible slave master, a cruel one too, from back there in that time, still whispering to you and telling you what to do. And you are not having any responsibility, no real dignity of your manhood to stand up to that voice and say, I'm free now. I tell myself when to get up, when to go to work, what work to do, where to spend my money, what to spend my money for, and when to go play, and when to stop playing, when to dance and when to stop dancing. But you ain't telling yourself that. You are letting the system provide for you your freedom and your livelihood, the extent to which you can go. You are still in captivity. Thank you very much. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Statement to the community that if we want you to be our leader, then they have to produce the deeds to the senators and the mosque, all the property. I want to know, have any imams around the country respond to that?
A few, but very few. Very, like less than 5%.
Wow. But you had a great response when you resigned from the community. You had most of the whole community came and said, well, I resigned from the community after you resigned from the community.
Yes. Well, what we had was a wave of persons upon knowing that I was no longer accepting to be responsible for the local places or cities around the country, messages, schools, whatever, and that I was going to only be responsible for my office, the Mosque Cares organization that I head. We had, when I say a wave, I mean we had many, a quick surge of persons letting me know that they were with me and they were going to stay with me. Behind that surge, we had imams who started resigning. Most of those imams have not changed a bit. They're the same people they were before. They resigned only to save their face to the people that had dedicated to them that they were with me no matter where I go. When they saw that, they responded to that situation by stating to us that they resigned. But actually, they haven't changed with that. No, they haven't changed with that. the great majority have not changed anything.
Glad you see it, Brother Imam.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
And that's good for me, as long as you do on things and don't put my name in it. Don't use my name, that's okay with it. Yes, ma'am.
A couple of months ago, you stated that we were in our last days, but you didn't expound on it.
In the last,
Last days.
yes, we're living in the last days. As my father said,